Station 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, it is time for Ocala Magazine Radio. Kelli Hart is in the studio to entertain us with whatever she's got planned for today. Good morning, Kelli. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. Are you now that Election Day is behind us, are the holidays on your mind?
The holidays are definitely on my mind.
Yeah?
Yes, I can't wait for Thanksgiving. It just dawned on me yesterday that it was going to be here in just a matter of 2 or 3 short weeks.
2 weeks, 6 days.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've already seen people's countdown to Christmas, so I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm not really that interested yet. So yeah, I'm really, really ready for Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorites.
That is cool. It is cool. You know, we get the cool privilege of doing this year. We get to play our music in one of those old historic homes. I don't know which one it is.
Oh,
but
nice.
Yeah, somebody invited us to play, just the instrumental stuff. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
What a nice
Looking
time.
forward to it. I hope I don't make mistakes.
Oh, well, just, keep going.
Just it's Christmas
songs.
songs.
No one will notice. People will be eating.
Yeah.
Just keep going. No one will notice. Well, we're really excited. Today, our book came out. It's hot off the presses.
Let me see.
It's a beautiful, beautiful
Oh, wow.
book.
Who are they?
This is Trinity Catholic High Schools on our cover this month because they ranked in the top 5% of Catholic schools in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
So we had the privilege of doing a short story on them for this month, and it's pretty awesome. We went out to the school, and they don't have textbooks out there. Everybody has an iPad.
Really?
And on that iPad is all of their text and all of their work and everything is done on iPad. So it's really interesting because I remember in high school with all the textbooks and you'd go to your locker between classes, and that's not the case anymore. Everything is done through their iPad. So if the school needs to get like a mass message out to everybody, they can do it through technology to their iPads.
I had no idea.
It's really,
are all the schools doing this?
To my knowledge, this is the only school that's doing it.
Really?
And it's really amazing.
But that's probably the way it will go, I would think.
I would think so. Because the school and the students both had so many really positive things to say about it, and I never really thought about something like that. Instead of using a textbook, of course, I'm one of those people that I don't do the Kindle readers. If I'm going to read a book, I like to
get the actual book.
Book and circle and highlight things and take notes. And so there may be people that are opposed to the idea of the technology, but I think for kids, because everything now is done with technology, I could see the benefit. I think unless you lose your iPad, then you might be in big trouble.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be the same as if you lost your textbook.
But is it okay? But at the college level, where textbooks are very expensive, are they not as expensive since they're not real books? They're all virtual books?
From what I understand, and I don't have an exact number on it, but the students, as part of their tuition, they do pay a package fee for the download to their iPad.
Oh, okay.
So they're still paying for their textbooks, but they're not having to carry them around.
Nobody's getting that spinal injury anymore.
Right. So I don't know if it probably eliminates the need for backpacks, which then probably eliminates the need for concern about what are kids carrying in their backpacks and lockers. So it probably has a lot of other benefits.
Oh, wow.
That I had never really thought about until going and visiting the school, which, by the way, is a gorgeous campus. I mean, they have it is amazing, and I like the idea of uniforms. The more that I talked to some of the people there, I thought,
I've been changing my mind about that too.
Yeah, I used to think no, people should be individuals and have their own style.
Because you were younger
and express themselves. Yeah, because I didn't want to fall into that category. But now, maybe as a mother with a daughter, and some of the things I'm seeing younger children wear, which is totally inappropriate for many reasons, I'm starting to really lean towards this idea of everybody coming in uniform. And I think you can still express yourself through your personality, and I'm sure there's still a way to wear a pin that has your favorite, band or something. I don't know. I'm sure there's still ways that you can do it. But
so
I think
what did they do to become such a high-ranked school?
Well, I think it's through their technology and through the things that they're doing, and I don't know how many Catholic schools there are in the U.S. I'm sure there are several, but what a prestigious award to know that a school here in Ocala got this kind of
That is cool.
recognition.
Yeah.
And if you look in our etc. section in the back, we always have some tidbits about things going on. And it seemed like this month there were so many people that we were able to mention, such as Jane Elsperman, who was the National Principal of the Year. That was a huge deal. And P.J. Williams, who went to Vanguard and graduated, that plays for Florida State. He was just named a Jim Thorpe Award semifinalist, which is a huge deal. Yeah. And then we also have Tina Chandra in the back because she was chosen as a national role model for Saris to Suits. They're doing a calendar, and they choose people from all different role models from the nation that they feel best, I guess, defines what a role model would be, and she was chosen. Oh, wow. And so there's a lot of people in Ocala that are making a huge name for themselves, and how exciting that we were able to mention all of those people this month. So along with our charity registry, of course, which we talked about last week when I was here, there's about 16 or so pages of different charities that we mentioned that people should definitely look into and consider donating and helping as a cause if they get the itch, especially during November. I think November and December, people really start to get the itch for giving because of the holidays. So that's a really good time to check that out and pick one or two or as many charities as you can think to help. They all need it. They definitely all need it.
One of my favorite catalogs that comes around at Christmas time is the Samaritan's Purse catalog. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
It's from the oh my gosh, Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son, and you're not buying anything for yourself in this catalog. Right. You're ordering eggs for somebody in the Middle East, or you're ordering cows for somebody in Africa or something like that, or water, clean water, and things like that. But every time this time of year comes around, that spirit within us jumps to that. But I honestly think, and we know this from doing the radio show, that Ocala steps up to the plate all the time. It's not just this time of year.
Right. Well, and I wrote my editor's note about the same thing because one of the stories that you'll see in this month's issue is called A Stand-Up Chance, and it's the Steve Harvey story. And I know I touched on it last week, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more in depth this week. And my editor's note also reflected one of the quotes that I mentioned from there. And it was a really interesting story. I had stayed home from work one day many months ago, and I don't know if I was sick or if it was just one of those deadline recuperation type days, but I was home. And I was watching daytime television, which I don't get to do often. And I got a chance to watch the Steve Harvey show. And on that particular show, it was his birthday, and they had surprised him with a via satellite conference call from a couple out of Orlando that, I mean, as soon as they popped on the screen, he just broke into tears.
Oh, really?
He became so emotional. And the couple's name is Rich and Becky Liss, and he originally met this couple many, many years ago when he was very, very young in Cleveland, and he was trying to do odds and end jobs. He was homeless and had no money, and came into this furniture store, which Rich and Becky Liss owned at the time, and wanted to see if they could use some carpet cleaning services or some kind of odds and end jobs. And they really took a liking to Steve, and they said, in their own words, that they could really see something in him that was just really likable, and they became friends. They considered him a friend. And in fact, when customers would come into the store and someone was not available right away to tend to them, they'd send Steve over and they'd say, hey, go over there and keep those customers busy until one of us can get to them. And they saw very quickly that he had this knack for entertaining and making people laugh. And the customers loved him. And they mentioned to him one day, because they were giving him odds and end jobs and trying to kind of help him out a little bit financially. And they mentioned to him one day, you're really funny. Have you ever considered comedy? And in their hometown in Cleveland, there was a little improv, place where you could go and do like
stand-up,
improv stand-up. And they encouraged him to go and try it. And so he did. And it wasn't anything immediate. Obviously, it took some time, but he stayed pretty adamant, and they were affording him the opportunity to go. So any entry fees or any clothing that he may have needed to wear for these types of events, they were affording him. And as the story unfolds, of course, now he's a celebrity and a national phenomenon with several different shows.
Kelly, we need to take a weather break, but
sure,
we'll be right back. I want to hear more.
Okay.
I love success stories, especially when somebody goes from nothing to something.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today and not as warm as recent days with lowering humidity, highs in the 70s. Partly cloudy tonight, those ranging from the upper 40s in the coldest inland spots to about 60 along the coast. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, highs in the 70s. We'll see periods of rain and a thunderstorm tomorrow night. Then for Sunday, mostly cloudy with occasional rain and a thunderstorm, highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida. Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will make. Tuesday, November 11th at 10 a.m., Bob Kennedy, broker and owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing short sales and bank-owned homes. So tune in at 10 Tuesday and call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Home Team Realty and WOCA.
A garden, and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
1370 WOCA.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Kelly Hart is in the studio. This is Ocala Magazine Radio, which means it must be Friday, huh?
It is.
So I'm loving this story about Steve Harvey simply because I love stories about people who are doing good things for other people.
Yes.
And then when it's somebody you kind of know, and you know what, we feel like we know celebrities. We don't really know them,
right.
But it's a very cool story.
Right. Well, and Steve Harvey has been around for so long. I can remember when he was Arthur Hightower on the Steve Harvey Show sitcom, and he was the music teacher and had the flat top. So I think that's probably when I really remember knowing who Steve Harvey was. And then the original Kings of Comedy tour. And, of course, now he's the host of The Family Feud, which I never really was crazy about until he became the host, because I think he makes the show.
So funny on
amazing.
that. Yeah.
And so he's got a lot of different things going on. And when I was watching his talk show that morning that I had stayed home from work, and I saw how moved he was when this couple came on, and I guess it had been several years, I guess you get busy and you get famous and people move, and they were disconnected. So when they came on and he just burst into tears, it really moved me, because I saw for the first time this man who's this national celebrity as a real, genuine person. To me, it was like, wow, he was really humbled and grateful, and look how moved he was on national television, live TV, to see these people again. So it was a really great show, and I made a post on Facebook, something along the lines of, I was watching Steve Harvey, and this couple had helped him when he was homeless and had nothing, and you never know when you're helping somebody what links you may be helping propel them to. And I got an inbox message from a Facebook friend who said, listen, I work at a restaurant here in Ocala, and this couple comes in all the time. They're very nice. And I was like, what do you mean in Ocala? It says that they were satellite from Orlando. And she said, yeah, I think it was just to maybe kind of stay low key or something, but they're here in Ocala. And so I told her, please, next time you see this couple, give them my name and number, because this would make for such a great story for Ocala Magazine. Of course, this is one of the things we love to do, is talk about something on a national level, but with a local tie. Yeah. And this was it. It was perfect. And so I finally was able to reach out to Mr. Liss, and we connected. And the interview, I was there for quite some time, although it's really a short story, but he gave me so much information, and it was so fun to talk to somebody who knew someone prior to their fame, and was talking about them as that, they're just this normal kind of everyday person. And some of the things that they did and hung out, and he was like, you'll never see Steve in jeans. He refuses to wear jeans. And I'm like, I never thought about it, but now that you mention it, he's always in these suits and three-piece suits and dressed very dapper, and I've never seen him in jeans. And so just the information itself was so amazing, and the fact that this couple had moved from Cleveland to the Ocala area for business, and here they were in our backyard, and it was like no one ever really made the connection. And so it was really fun when all of that kind of came to be, and I was able to sit down with them, because it drives the idea home that if you have an opportunity to help somebody, you never do know. Like, I mean, had these people had just kind of brushed him off, hey, we run a really busy furniture store, we don't have time for these, we don't have time for this, no, go somewhere else and ask if you can do some
and I'm sure he had plenty of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
From other people.
I'm sure he was brushed off. I know as a business owner myself, there were times where people stopped in constantly. Do you have any work? Are you hiring? Are you looking for help? And, 9 times out of 10, I wasn't. And I couldn't help. But I guess when things are written and it's just meant to be, it is. And so for Steve to walk into that store and to find this couple's generosity extended to him, and he never forgot it. And so it was really great on that show. In fact, if you go online and you go to YouTube, or I think you can just Google Steve Harvey birthday surprise, it will play the clip when he gets the call and they pop up on the screen. And I mean, he really does. He really loses it and goes into tears. And even Rich Liss, you can tell, kind of chokes up at one point. And it was just so touching. Yeah. And I thought, wow, this is a great, great opportunity for this charity registry issue, because we're talking about service and we're talking about giving. And what a great tie-in. So it was really exciting. I did extend an email to the Steve Harvey Show in hopes that maybe I could somehow get a real specific quote or feedback from him, or maybe his publicist or something.
That's a cool story. Yeah. So it's in the magazine this month?
Yes, it's in the magazine this month, and it is a really fun story. And I mean, everyone loves Steve Harvey. People of all ages.
Everybody loves you. Who are the lists in your life? Who would you name that would be those people in your life?
The people that helped me the very, very most? Well,
I mean, I'm throwing you a curveveball, I know, but I mean, somebody must come to mind.
Well, I mean, first I would have to say my parents. Yeah. And I'm very, very fortunate in the parents that I have. I mean, they were the parents that if I were in a recital, they were there. Oh, wow. If I were in a bubblegum blowing contest, they were going to be there.
Were you?
No. Although I'm good at it, but no.
I want to see that picture.
They're just those parents that no matter what it was, it didn't have to be something major. It could be very minuscule. But if it mattered to me, and they're the same way with my sister, and now they're the same way with our children. I mean, anything that my or my sisters, they show up, and not just show up, but they're there, with buttons and signs. And I mean, they're just those types of parents. So, so I was very blessed growing up to have that kind of support system to where I felt I could do anything. But I would have to say now, with my career at Ocala Magazine, I mean, Linda, I would have to extend a huge thank you to, because we're talking about someone with a almost 35-year-old business, trusting me to do a job that I had never done before. Yeah. So, So those were big, big shoes to fill there. And it has blessed me with an opportunity to do these very things, to write about stories like this and to meet new people. And so I would have to say, because I've owned my own business and there's been things in my life that I feel like I've had a little bit more control over. But, you know, to have someone extend that trust in you and faith and say, hey, I want to hire you for my business and trust that you're going to do this job, that's pretty huge. So.
Yeah. And when you go back to when you said, okay, you weren't in the bubblegum blowing.
No.
You said recitals. Were you in recitals?
I was, yes.
So what were you doing?
So I did ballet for quite some time.
You did?
Yes.
Wow.
And then cheerleading. That kind of, you know, spiraled into cheerleading
Ballet
in high school.
prepared you for cheerleading?
I think so. Yeah.
Wait,
at least all the blush and mascara. I don't know, but yeah. So I did, as a smaller child, I did all the recitals and those types of things. And my mom will share stories about how I was busier on stage correcting everybody else and getting them in line than I was focused on my own role.
Wow.
So, which comes as no surprise.
Any teachers come to mind that stand out?
I had a third grade teacher named Miss Pringle, who I adored. She was my favorite teacher of all times. And it was funny because when Lily was in, I guess maybe K4, she was going to First Assembly preschool. And I went into the office to get her enrolled for that. And lo and behold, there stood Miss Pringle.
Oh, wow.
Now, at this point, she was no longer Miss Pringle. She
was Mrs. something.
Mrs. something else.
Yeah.
But there she was. And I had kind of that aha moment, and I said, Mrs. Pringle. And, you know, of course, it took her a moment. She turned around, and she said, oh, my gosh, Kelli Fuquay, you know.
She knew.
She knew.
Who you
She
were.
said, you look the same. Of course, I did. I had the same hair, the same bangs, freckles. I mean, honest to goodness, not much has changed. And she knew, and I said, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but you were my very favorite teacher. You out of all of
wow.
yes, and I hope I'm not hurting any other teacher's feelings, but she was my very favorite. And I had that opportunity as an adult to tell her, which was so awesome to get to do that.
That is awesome.
It really was. And it was such a great conversation. And to know that she's still teaching, I feel like that's great because I know that every child that goes through her classroom is going to have a phenomenal experience.
So what is the memory that surfaces the quickest when it comes to the relationship you had with her when you were her student?
I just remember her
Did she put her
always
arm around you and console you, or did she encourage you for something?
I just remember her always being very rewarding. No matter, I mean, I just felt like in that class at that particular moment, if you spelled something right, there was a huge reward. If you were on time to your seat, I just always remember her being very rewarding and loving that class. I mean, she was teaching at Ocala Christian Academy at the time.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if she's still at First Assembly because that was even a few years ago, but she was my all-time favorite.
That's a cool story.
All-time favorite. And you think to yourself, I wonder if there's ever a time where you've influenced a child and they grow up and become an adult and they think back after all these years of people that they've encountered, if someone would say, you know, she was my all-time favorite something.
Oh, in your case, I'm sure. I'm sure there are a lot of little girls who just look up to you and love you. And I'm sure you're still doing that. I don't think that those little girls are all grown up yet.
Well,
in your case.
I know I had the opportunity when I worked at Pace Center for Girls and was a counselor there for a little while to kind of have that influence. And I remember thinking to myself, using Mrs. Pringle as my example in my own mind, I hope that I have some influence on someone the way that she did on me. And this was before I even ran back into her again. So it's just funny how somebody can have such an impact. And very seldom as an adult do you, I think, get the opportunity to see that person again and be able to tell them face to face how much of an influence they had. So maybe that'll be the challenge today, is to reach out to somebody that had such an impact on you and let them know, because what a great feeling to be able to tell someone that.
Absolutely. Well, I love that story, Kelli.
Thank you.
We've got like a minute and 20 seconds and somebody's calling in. You want to take that call?
Yes, sure.
Good morning. You're on the air with Kelli.
Hey, there's a book out there, and it motivated a fellow teacher to do the project where then her class wrote letters to their favorite teacher. And she prefaced it with, so if you're receiving this letter, that means the student enclosed or students enclosed, you know, thought of you as their favorite teacher, and they had to explain why. So, and as recipients, we were just, it was so touching, you know, so yeah, thanks for bringing this up. And we can all do it in our own little ways. So thank you.
Thank you. I didn't know there was a book. I'll have to look for that.
That is cool.
That's fun.
Thank you for that, Lauren. Yeah, and how many
Thank
teachers
you.
are out there right now? It's kind of like teacher appreciation moment right now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
So thank your teachers for sure. And it doesn't have to be a teacher. It could be anybody that made a difference. But that would certainly, I mean, it's November. It's the month of thanks. So let's be thankful for those people.
Great way to end it, Kelly.
Yes.
Good job.
Thanks. Have a great weekend, Larry.
That was fun. Thank you. You too. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Roll is gonna soothe my soul. I don't care about no rocking and jive. Just wanna be your man tonight.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. More Americans are working as the unemployment rate falls to 5.8%, the lowest rate in 6 years.
The Labor Department said it fell because in its separate